Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining my Buddhism sharing meeting today. So what I'm going to talk about could be quite interesting. Now, we all chant Nam-myoho-renge, all right? But I'm going to share with you the information I got from the SGI publication. It's called Why We Chant Nam-myoho-renge, and not other words. Do the words themselves have power? Yes, all words have power. Words can make people happy or sad, angry or loving. Even the innocent words like bacon and eggs can send you off to the shops to buy. Language has a more profound effect on our lives than we know. Nichiren Daishonin says, if you so much as hear the words pickled plum, your mouth will begin to water. Even in everyday life, there are such wonders. So how much greater are the wonders of the Lotus Sutra? Just give you a very typical example. If I see somebody and I say, you look ugly, that will make you lose your temper immediately. But when I see somebody, I say, hey, you look good, the person will shine and will feel very good. This is how, that shows you how powerful words are. So why chant Nam-myoho-renge? There are two parts to this question. The first concerns the fundamental law of life, Nam-myoho-renge, and the second, our relationship to it. We could ask why of many things we don't understand, such as the universe. Why we call it universe? Great Britain, UK. Why we call it Great Britain and UK? Of course, every word has a history, but exactly why particular sounds were chosen to designate particular objects or ideas is difficult. Even when those objects, ideas are familiar to us. Give you an example. When we say Malaysia, immediately you will think about the country, the palm trees, and the weather, and the food, and the lao lin, and so forth. So when you hear the word Hong Kong, the image of Hong Kong will immediately come forth, because Hong Kong is such a crowded and busy place with lots and lots of tall and crowded buildings. So in short, all words have power. Historically, Myoho-renge is a title and essence of the Lotus Sutra, the highest of Shakyamuni's teachings, which was translated from Sanskrit into ancient Chinese characters. Nichiren Daishonin placed Nam, a Sanskrit word meaning devotion, in front of these characters, so that in simple terms, Nam-myoho-renge means to devote one's lives to the ultimate law of the universe. Each of the characters themselves contain extremely profound principles of life. However, and together, they express how everything in the cosmos works in one harmonious relationship. Of course, this is extremely difficult to believe and understand, but that does not mean it cannot be understood, or that chanting this phrase does not have a profound effect on our lives. Scientists and mathematicians use formula and language which are quite incomprehensible to most other people, but they can convey even the most difficult concepts to each other with accurate use of these expressions. President Ikeda says, in the same manner, when we chant Nam-myoho-renge with faith in the Gohonsen, Even if we don't understand its profound meaning, we can tap the condition of Buddhahood. And he uses the example of a baby. So if you feed the baby with milk, the baby doesn't even know what milk is, but continuously you give the baby milk and the baby will grow. Our voice chanting Nam-myoho-renge permeates the cosmos and reaches the life condition of Buddhahood and all the Buddhas in the universe. It also penetrates our lives, enabling us to unlock the palace of Buddhahood, or the supreme life condition of eternity, happiness, true self, and purity. It is the same as music that, without explanation, reaches and filters into people's hearts, calling forth a sympathetic response from them. Yesterday, when I was talking to my sister, she said lately, when she was in bed, she tried to play very soft music, and she falls asleep very easily. So this is the effect of the music on us. The most important point to remember is that everyone who chants Nam-myoho-renge, whether highly intellectual or totally illiterate, can draw out of themselves the state of Buddhahood, which influences all the other states in our life and guides our actions in the very midst of our struggles and problems. Although it is very difficult to believe at first, Nam-myoho-renge is the essence of everyone's life. And when we chant this phrase, it affects us in countless positive ways, from the very core of our lives, from the inside out. The extent to which we can benefit from chanting depends not on the power inherent in the characters of Nam-myoho-renge, which is limitless, but entirely on how much sincere effort we make when we practice. The natural law of life is in everything, but only by chanting Nam-myoho-renge and taking action in our daily lives can we tap or activate it, and so enable it to work for the happiness of ourselves and other people. Now here, I would again say that if you just do chanting Nam-myoho-renge and do nothing, it's not going to help you. I would call it superstition. Because chanting is to help us to have wisdom, to do the right things to help us, and to realize what we need to do, what we need to change, what we need to learn to solve our problems and reach our goals. So just chanting alone, sitting there and do nothing, is not going to help you. Buddhism talks about the principle of the four powers: the power of the Buddha, the power of the law, the power of faith, and the power of practice. The first two are embodied in the Gohonzon, but are only activated by the powers of faith and practice of the person who chants to it. In other words, it is the power of our faith and practice which determines the extent to which the power of the Gohonzon can appear in our lives. Ultimately, this means that we can see the power of Nam-myoho-renge only by putting it into practice. That is, by chanting sincerely and taking action based on the wisdom gained from chanting. What's more, if we do so while bearing in mind the principle of the four powers outlined above, we will begin to see that we can gradually reveal more and more of the power we inherently possess. All right. My next topic is kind of interesting, and I will add my own thought after it. The title I've chosen to use is You Deserve It. This is a lecture by Linda Johnson from the United States. Let me begin. Some people are never in the limelight, never in a position to receive praise and recognition from others. But it is the heart that is important. A person's greatness is not determined by social status. Our happiness isn't determined by our environment. A vast universe exists in our hearts, in our lives. We practice Nichiren Buddhism to open up that boundless inner realm. When we open that magnificent realm of the spirit, we will be champions wherever we might be. We will enjoy without end the wondrous delights of a truly profound existence. Many people seek success and importance in the eyes of the world, but few aspire to become truly great human beings. Many wish to be showered with praise and attention, but few strive to build an inner happiness that will remain undiminished until the moment of their death and extend throughout the three existences of past, present, and future. Our greatness and happiness as human beings are determined by the strength of our life force and our Buddhist faith and practice dedicated to Kosen Rufu. We are striving day after day for Kosen Rufu. It requires incredible perseverance. Yet, because of that, we are absolutely certain to build lives of true fulfillment. Well, talking about myself, yeah, I know I'm doing a lot, not doing a lot, I'm trying very hard to do Kosen Rufu, to encourage people and to share with others what I've learned about Buddhism. And I wouldn't say I persevere, but it's just something that I think I need to do, that's all. Okay, how others view us is not important. Oh, I forgot to say. And because of all my effort in helping others and in Kosen Rufu, I'm very happy and I'm very lucky and I'm enjoying my life. So this is the result of my effort in Kosen Rufu. Okay, let me go on. How others view us is not important. Temporary success or failures also do not matter. What counts is whether our faces shine with happy smiles at the very end of our lives. If we can look back and say, my life was victorious, it was enjoyable, I have no regrets, then we are victors. Nichiren Buddhism explains all of life has two sides, the positive and the negative. And the reason we suffer is that we are unaware we have the same power within us that caused the sun to come up today. Yeah, we suffer, and this is me talking now. We suffer, we despair, because we think that we can't do it. We can't overcome our problems. We cannot achieve our goals. So we are not happy, and we suffer. But once we realize that we've got the power to overcome everything in our life and solve all the problems and achieve our goals, then you will not suffer. You will be happy. So this realization is very, very important. This is what day in and day out, I've been telling everybody, encouraging everybody, please do not despair. The best is yet to come. Okay, let me go on. Having knowledge of this is of no value unless we can unlock this power. How do we unlock this power? Me talking now. By chanting Nam-myoho-renge, by learning the basic principles of Buddhism. A lot of us just chant, and do not know why this chanting is so powerful. So this is why I spend all my time trying to explain the basics of Buddhism. The more you know about it, the stronger your faith will be, and you will know how to use this theory, this philosophy to help you in your daily life. So this is why learning is very, very important. Okay, let me go on. We each are in this movie we call life. We are the writer, the I don't know what's happened. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Producer, the director, and we direct the film every day with our thoughts, words, and actions. This is both the source of our fortune and the source of our suffering. We practice to become happy. Happiness is not the absence of problems. Happiness is the ability to confront our problems head on and create value from our problems. This is what we call absolute happiness. Absolute happiness is me talking now. Absolute happiness is to know that we can solve our problems. Everything will be okay. And then you'll be happy. Whatever comes along, you will say, it's okay. It will become better. I can solve it. Then you're happy. Let me go on. We need to learn we have control of our destiny and stop waiting for someone else to make us happy. Now again, I've always taught my younger generation to be always in control. Now, we are not controlling other people. We want to be control of a situation. We want to be control our own lives. We must not be controlled by others and must not be controlled by a situation, because we can change the situation. We've got the power to do so. And we must not be controlled by other people and a situation. And if you are in control, it's like driving your car. You're directing your car to where you want to go. You are handling the steering wheel with your own hands. Okay, let me go on. Nichiren says that nothing outside of us is separate from us. All our actors in our movie reflect us. Some reflect wonderful us, and some don't. But they are the most important because we can't change what we cannot see. The person who causes you suffer is there to help you decide, I'm going to change my life today. Now let me give you a very typical example, which I've talked many, many times. We have a dental surgery, which had been okay until a very young dentist came along, and he was very good at business, not at dentistry. And then he was very good at SEO, which is the advertising in Google. And then with his tactics and his technique in this, we were almost put to the situation that we have to close shop. It was then when I realized that we have been taking a lot of things for granted. We have not really worked very hard towards expanding the business. So because of that happened, I put in triple effort to try to do marketing, to ask somebody to help us with SEO, and to contact a lot of other doctors for businesses, and try to talk to a lot of patients to encourage them. And because of that problem that this young dentist caused us, our business was running better and better. It expands double, triple, quadruple, and we were doing very, very well. So that young dentist, initially, it looks as if he's making us suffer, but indeed, he's helping us to promote our business, to do better. Okay, let me go on. We need to look inside. Any suffering has to be connected to our lives, or we could not be experiencing it. But we can change it. Now, the important thing is we have to realize that we are the cause of all the problems. If you realize that we are the cause, then we can change it. The real problem is you don't realize that there is a problem, or you don't believe, or you don't admit that the problem comes from us. That is the real problem. But with chanting Nam-myoho-renge, it will emerge from us. It's like a mirror that reflects us. When we look in the mirror, we can see a pimple on the face. Without looking at the mirror, we don't see. So this is why when chanting to the Gohansen, we will quickly know what's wrong with us, and we want to change it, and we can change it. So this is the power of our practice. Let me go on. Human Revolution says, I'm going to pray to transform the suffering so I can be an example for others. My experience will inspire others. So what is the number one requirement for all of us to live a victorious life? Courage. Now, the example I gave you just now, when we were going to have to close shop, then without courage, I will lie flat. But with my faith and my courage, I strive on, I change the situation, and our business become better and better and better. So number one is courage. But then we need faith. Faith exists for us to make the impossible possible. We don't practice to do what we already do. As we mature in faith, our intellect persuades us that things are not possible. We buy into the reality of our lives and don't seek to challenge them. You just accept your situation. You don't challenge them, or you don't believe that you can challenge or change them. That is the problem. But faith makes the impossible possible. We need to chant to transform obstacles, even when the intellect has no strategy. Now, to be honest, our intellect, which means that is the experiences and the knowledge we gain from study, but that is very limited. So this is why when chanting Nam-myoho-renge, we rise above to Buddhahood, and at this time, our wisdom comes forth, and you see something very, very different. It's like when you are up in the mountain, you see everything below clearly. So, when you take charge of your life, what matters is your heart. I'm going to make this happen with every Nam-myoho-renge. This is the attitude and the determination we need when we face a situation or when we chant for a goal which hasn't come yet. Linda Johnson says, I met a young woman who hadn't gotten her citizenship interview, and she told me, it's out of my hands. Well, she said that to the wrong person. As a Nichiren Buddhist, nothing is out of your hands. I told her to chant, I'm making it happen right now. This was Saturday. By Monday, she had gotten a call for her interview. Now, let me repeat the experience that I have with you. I think I've mentioned that before. It is when Kevin, my son, he came to study, and I wasn't sure. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to stay in Australia until he was reaching the time when he could no longer be here as an independent. So, and he told me that he wanted to stay in Australia. And he was about, I forgot his age. It was in February when he told me that he wanted to stay in Australia. So I had to apply for a PR visa for him at that time. He was on a student visa all along. So it was in February. And by November, which is his birthday, once he reaches that age, I forgot the age, he will not even be qualified. So we started to try to get a consultant to help us to apply. So I think in May or April, we hired a consultant to help us apply. And then sometime in July, we were told that we need to get a police check from Canada, where Kevin lived for a few years. Now, it was in about July when we were told. So we immediately applied in Canada for this police check. But then Kevin told me that at that time, the Canadian government needed 2 years to produce this police check. So when I heard about this, I thought about, well, if we get it in 2 years, then he will pass the age when he will be qualified to apply under my status as a PR. So it's no use. So I started to chant to the Gohansen. I said, let Kevin's application be handled by Sultan Sanjin, who is very efficient and will approve this police certificate in 30 days' time. So it was in end July when I started to chant. So I chanted and chanted and chanted every day. And you know what? By September 1st, we received this police check in 1 month's time, not 2 years. So I will not be defeated by what people said, because at the very beginning, my superior, the member, taught me, the one who guided me along, said, Lydia, don't trust what other people say, because those who do not chant Nam-myoho-renge will have different results from us. When we chant Nam-myoho-renge, what happens to us is very different. And this is exactly the case. We were able to get Kevin's Canadian certificate in 30 days' time, not 2 years. So at that time, I was determined to make this happen by my chanting, and it did. Okay, let me go on. Linda Johnson says, a terminal diagnosis from medical science just tells you medical science can't help you. But the great medicine of Nam-myoho-renge works for everyone. We need to challenge our lives with courage. I hope Jenny Chong's sister will listen to this, because the doctors, I told her also, doctors only tell you what they learn from the books, but what they don't know is the mystic law and the power of life. Linda Johnson says, a member in New York was given 3 months to live, and 7.5 years later, she is still living free of cancer. We need to courageously use our faith to take charge of our lives. Nothing is more powerful than Nam-myoho-renge. Chant courageously and boldly for your dreams. Your dreams are the best gift you can give yourself. No one else can give them to you. So, start chanting today. Create the greatest life beyond all expectations. Now, these are very important words I want to explain, because you deserve it. Now, you deserve it are very, very important words, because sometimes I hear members say, I find it easier to chant for other people, but I cannot chant for myself. My understanding is that this member either doesn't have enough faith, she was afraid to chant for herself because she doesn't believe that she deserved it. A friend of mine long time ago told me, he said, when things go very smoothly, then I'm afraid it can't be like that. Something bad might happen, and then something bad did happen. I think because he thinks life is too good and he doesn't deserve it. So this is very important. Nichiren Daishonin says we are all Buddhas. We deserve the best. Life is to be enjoyed. So please do not think, do not lower your esteem. Please do not think I do not deserve it. Of course we deserve. We deserve the best. But it's not just saying it. You have to make effort to achieve what you want to achieve, to get what you deserve, and to believe that you deserve it. And this is very important. Okay, so the next topic I want to share is, what is the heart and origin of Buddhism? It is compassion. Compassion is the heart and origin of Buddhism. The most basic wish of all people is to live happily. Yet human society is shaped by forces that work powerfully against this basic desire. From violence to environmental destruction to the deep inequalities between people. Buddhism sheds light on the inner forces of human life that leads us to create such an undesirable reality. One of the most powerful desires in human life is the desire for power over others, the urge to overpower other people to our will. In this condition, the ego finds its most unrestrained and destructive expression, regarding others simply as a means to satisfy its selfish objectives. Now, this could refer to parents and children. The parents want to control the children's future and demand them to do this and study that and that. And also, husband and wives. Sometimes the wives will like to control the husband and ask them to do what they want him to do. So this is in control of others, not yourself, and this is wrong. Buddhism symbolically personifies this manipulative, controlling impulse as the devil king of the sixth heaven. It is evident everywhere in our world. Recognizing this impulse, Nichiren described the world as the domain of the devil king, and all people as being under the rule of this devil. But if human nature is the cause of our most terrible problems, it is also the source of the fundamental solution. The offsetting force to the destructive aspect to human nature is compassion. Compassion, a sense of harmony with others, with all life, arising from a wish for mutual happiness and growth, is the heart and origin of Buddhism. Buddhist compassion could be described as the desire to relieve suffering and to give joy. Now, I would like to share with you a beautiful experience by a UK member. She says, I want to live every moment to the fullest. So let me begin her story. She says, I was introduced to Nichiren Buddhism around 12 years ago by an amazing gentleman who was totally blind and a real inspiration to others. When we chatted, something really resonated inside of me. I wanted some of his positive attitude, his joyous seeking attitude, and zest for life. Going to study and discussion meetings, where I could deepen my understanding of Buddhist philosophy and talk about life, filled me with a new vibrant energy and enthusiasm that I hadn't felt before. And I realized I could turn my life around, which I certainly have. Over the next few years, I attended every SGI meeting I could. Members oozed dynamic energy, perseverance, courage, strength, and a sense of real joy and happiness. They were like my guiding lanterns in the dark, illuminating my way, and their support was like the interconnected roots below a tree. It was so lovely to have heart-to-heart conversations and meaningful dialogues. I loved discussion meetings, finding out how members had used their Buddhist practice in their daily lives to overcome difficult challenges and still be positive. Now, please remember, we have to know how to use our Buddhist practice in our daily life, or else all the Buddhist theories are just words. You have to put it in daily living. Let me go on. This member faced an incurable disease. She says, I have had quite a few health problems over the course of my life. 6 years ago, my physical health rapidly declined, and after 2 years, the doctor told me there was no cure, and all they could do was make me as comfortable as possible. I have a rare condition called dropped head syndrome. I can't move my head off my chest and only have 6 inches of my spine that can move. And that's decreasing all the time. Yes, her head is dropped to her chest all the time. For 6 years now, I have been housebound and have had carers coming in twice a day to help me. After being actively engaged with my Buddhist community, not being able to attend Buddhist meetings was a shock to the system. It was a very lonely time. Although the members in my local area tried to support however they could, I could have given up. But I knew the answer was to strengthen my Buddhist practice. I had to find a way to make heart-to-heart connections in different ways. In February, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, which was caused by the lack of oxygen reaching my brain. This was a very scary situation. I learned that the most likely time for this fits was when I am asleep at night, and that I might not wake up in the morning. In April 2020, I ended up in the hospital right at the start of COVID-19. For 3 days, I was in solitary confinement. Even the consultants didn't come into the room, but stood in the doorway. All I had with me was my mobile phone, but there was no signal. I can remember thinking, so what can I do now? Or perhaps I'd better start chanting. This gave me strength, courage, and a sense of connection with my Buddhist friends. I started to say thank you for another day. Eventually, when it was confirmed that I did not have COVID-19, I was allowed on the ward. A conversation with the consultant resulted in the realization that I could not be resuscitated. This really brought home to me the value of living every moment to the full, rather than complaining what I used to do or what I can't do now. They told me that it was likely I'd be back in the hospital again soon, and that there was nothing more they could do. So, it's the case of either maintain or deteriorate, and I determined to maintain my current physical state for as long as possible. I have not been back to the hospital for 18 months, which is not what they predicted. It's absolutely amazing. I know it. It's due to my Buddhist practice and my chanting. My spirit has never been more positive. I have a real zest for life. One of the huge benefits of the COVID lockdown for me was that SGI meetings went online. The first Zoom meeting I attended was so emotional. It felt like I'd returned and was home again. I have not missed a meeting since. So how do I use this Buddhist practice to support my daily life? Now, this is very, very important. She says, as soon as I wake up, I stand up on my front doorstep, give thanks for another day, and smile at the world. My spirit has never been more positive. I have a real zest for life. After all, my middle name is Joy. Life is wonderful, truly joyous and happy. There are so many little things to appreciate and feel grateful for. So let us remember this. There are a lot of things we can appreciate and be grateful for. For example, we have 10 fingers, right? We can use our fingers to do things that we want. And we have got eyes to see what we want to see, or even if we don't have eyesight, we've got ears to listen to music. And then we've got a mouth to taste the good things in life. So we have got a lot of things to be thankful for. Many people, including my carers, ask me how I'm able to stay so positive. And it is with great pride I tell them, because I practice Nichiren Buddhism. Every morning, I chant Nam-myoho-renge. Realistically, my lung capacity should be decreasing, but I believe chanting has strengthened my lung capacity and my voice. Each night, I find an inspiring quotation connected with this practice to send it out to over 60 people the following morning with a little personal encouragement. I'm very grateful to all of those people who receive these messages, as they are keeping me on the right track and giving me a reason to learn more about Buddhism every day. With every text I send, I really visualize that person and chant Nam-myoho-renge for them. Now, me talking now. See, on my Tuesday chanting meeting, I always send out a message, a heart, to everyone who attended this chanting meeting. And when I sent them the heart, I was chanting for them. Everyone who attended my chanting meeting, I sent them a heart. And at that time, I'm chanting for them. Nobody knows when they are going to die. I'm in a privileged position of knowing my life is going to be shorter than I perhaps expected. So, for me, it's about living each and every moment to the full. I've planned my natural burial ceremony, and it's going to be a colorful, happy, joyous, musical Buddhist funeral. I'll be there. I'm already chanting for things I want to achieve in my next life. In the meantime, I'm definitely going to make the most of this joyous life. I know this is where I am supposed to be. I, at last, understand that I am a Buddha, exactly as I am. I would like to end this quotation from President Ikeda. All in the universe is a continuous struggle. So it is with the growth of plants and trees, winning that struggle, they grow green and flourish. In the growth rings of this oak are engraved a hardship, a history of all its hardships, all its struggles, and its glorious triumphs. Recorded are winters when branches bow under the weight of snow, as well as summers of joyous profusion. The cracks in its bark give it the appearance of the wrinkled, sun-tanned skin of a mature man. To this tree, I ask in my heart, wouldn't you like to go somewhere else someday? But the tree seems to smile warmly and replies, of course not. This is my place. It is here that I have struggled and won. Could there be any other greater place than this? So, at the end of this experience, a few years later, this member has not been back in the hospital. So she had won. Okay, so this is all I have to share.